What you are seeing right now is a lie. Not a small lie, not an exaggeration for effect. A structural lie. Built layer upon layer. Since before you were born, so that it would never occur to you to doubt it. And before you think this is some cheap conspiracy theory, I want to tell you that one man proved it. With science, with literature, and with his own life, almost a century ago. His name was Aldous Huxley. And if you stay until the end of this video, you are going to understand why he predicted, with a precision that is honestly chilling, the exact world you live in today, with your phone, your algorithms, your invented urgencies, and your constant feeling that something is missing. Let's start with the obvious. Aldous Huxley was born in 1894 in England into a family that breathed science from every angle. His grandfather, Thomas Henry Huxley, defended Darwin so fiercely in public that people nicknamed him Darwin's bulldog. His older brother would become a celebrated biologist, and his half-brother would win a Nobel Prize in physiology. Aldous, on the other hand, wanted to be a doctor, and he couldn't. At 16 years old, a severe infection left him almost completely blind for months, and when he recovered part of his vision, he was never the same. He learnt firsthand something most people never stop to consider. That sight is not proof of truth. That seeing something does not mean that thing is real, exactly as you see it. That personal wound became, over the years, a philosophical obsession that runs through his entire body of work. And here comes the first fact I want you to remember. In 1954, already older, Huxley took part in an experiment with mescaline, a psychedelic substance, and he wrote about that experience in a short essay called The Doors of Perception. There, he explained something that neuroscience keeps confirming today. The human brain is not designed to show you the truth. It is designed to show you the bare minimum needed for you to survive and reproduce, nothing more. He calls this function the reducing valve. Imagine that at every second of your life there exists a brutal, overwhelming amount of real information around you, and your mind acts like a gate that closes off 99% of it, letting through only a tiny sliver, edited, impoverished, but functional. What you call reality is not the world. It is the world's cheap summary. And here is where it gets uncomfortable. If your brain is already lying to you by biological design, what happens when someone else learns to manipulate that filter to their advantage? That is exactly where the part that will interest you most comes in. Because that filter does not just reduce information at random. It can be trained, it can be filled, it can be programmed from the outside. And whoever manages to do that does not need to lie to you with violence. All they need is to decide which needs you are going to feel as urgent and which distractions you are going to consider entertainment. Fictitious needs. The clothes you didn't know existed yesterday and today feel like you're missing. The body you get compared to without asking for it. The status that suddenly seems indispensable. Fictitious distractions. Content mathematically designed so you can't put the phone down. Notifications that mimic the feeling of something important without almost ever being one. None of this is random. It is architecture. Someone built a room custom-made for you, with walls made of habits you never chose, and windows placed exactly where it was convenient for you to look, and convinced you that room was the entire universe. And here I want to pause, honestly, because it matters to me not to lie to you myself in a video about lies. The image of two young fish swimming, and an older fish who asks them how the water is, while they respond, "What is water?" is not a Huxley quote. It's from the writer David Foster Wallace half a century later. But I bring it up because it describes with brutal precision the same thing Huxley tried to demonstrate with data. There are lies so constant, so present since birth, that they stop feeling like lies. They become literally the air you breathe, the water you swim in without knowing it's water. Now, if you think this stayed confined to a strange philosophical essay from the 1950s, wait, because it gets stronger. In 1932, 22 years before that essay, Huxley had already written the fiction that predicted it all, Brave New World. In that novel, no dictator needs to shout orders. Human beings are manufactured on an assembly line, classified before birth into castes that determine their intelligence and their place in society. They are kept happy, docile, and obedient, with a pleasurable drug called soma, which erases any discomfort within seconds. They are educated during sleep, the same phrases repeated over and over until those phrases become beliefs. Nobody remembers choosing, and the most disturbing part of all, nobody in that society feels oppressed. Everyone loves their own cage. Huxley wasn't describing a distant future of machines and robots. He was describing a future of comfort, entertainment, and manufactured needs. In other words, he was describing us. And as if that weren't unsettling enough, in 1958, Huxley wrote an essay called Brave New World Revisited, where he directly compared his dystopia to George Orwell's in 1984. And honestly, you should keep this comparison as one of the sharpest insights of the 20th century. Orwell feared a power that would ban our books. Huxley feared a power that would no longer need to ban anything because nobody would even want to read them. Orwell feared that they would hide the truth from us. Huxley feared something worse, that we would be flooded with so much false information, so much distraction, so much empty entertainment, that we would lose the hunger needed to go looking for the truth at all. Orwell imagined control through pain. Huxley imagined control through pleasure. And if you look at the world you live in today, with notifications designed to trigger dopamine, with infinite content engineered so you never feel like you have enough, the question is no longer which of the two was right. The question is how long we've been living exactly inside Huxley's prediction without ever once stopping to think about it. And here comes the idea I want you to walk away with from this video, the one that really matters. You don't need to control a person. You only need to control what that person pays attention to. Because your attention is not a minor detail of your life. It is literally the material your entire experience of reality is built from. Everything you don't pay attention to for your conscious mind simply does not exist. So if someone manages to occupy your entire attention with fictitious needs and fictitious distractions, you will never have the time, the energy, or the reason to ask yourself whether the world they sold you is a lie. No chains were needed, no prisons, no censorship. All it took was designing with millimetric precision what you decide to look at every morning when you open your eyes. And with that, without you noticing, they decided for you what you were going to consider real. Huxley died on November 22nd, 1963, the same day President Kennedy was assassinated, which is why almost nobody remembers his death. He asked that in his final hours he be injected with LSD, the same family of substances he had used all his life trying to look beyond the reducing valve. He died literally trying one last time to step outside the room. So I leave you with the question he left open, and it's probably the most uncomfortable question you can ask yourself today. How much of what you call your life, your needs, your daily urgencies, your desires, was truly chosen by you? And how much was manufactured for you so skillfully that you never even noticed? Huxley wasn't asking us to shatter completely the valve that filters reality, because without it we would probably go insane. He was asking for something much simpler and much braver, that we at least knew it existed, that we stopped pretending the fiction they sold us was the whole truth. If this video made you doubt, even for a second, something you took completely for granted as real, it already did exactly what it was meant to do. And if you want to keep opening doors nobody told you existed, you know what to do. Like this video, tell me in the comments which fictitious need you think they sold you. And subscribe, because in the next video we're going even deeper into Huxley's mind and into how he escaped, or tried to escape, the very room he described.